Intervention is the final song that the level-headed secondary character has left to speak in the duration of the album. Obviously, some time has passed since the initial address to the main character found in Darkgrave, and he's returning to find that the main character hasn't responded, hasn't changed, hasn't repented, hasn't adjusted to anything. His agitation, arguably flesh-inspired rather than righteous, is clearly evident throughout the length of the song. However, his frustration does cause him to be more blunt and honest towards the actions and status of the main character. He opens up a lot more about what he sees in a desperate attempt to get the main character's attention and push him in the right direction, hopefully towards true change. Just to be honest, this song has a little more personal detail than many of the others. I know most of us in They Will Fall, including myself, have dealt with some situations like this where we reached out like this to a person to try to just hit them with what we know in the hopes that it will quickly solve their problems. I know I can speak in my own experience that being blunt with people is almost never painless. It requires an incredible amount of energy, and you have to be really certain about the things you are coming to the other person with in order to make any surmountable difference in their thought process. Most of the time it goes horribly wrong, or at least appears that way. They're hurt because they think you're attacking them and that you simply don't understand their situation. And what's even more difficult is that a lot of the time they may be right. You really have to be careful and make sure that you aren't trying to hurt the other person. It's all really involved and usually isn't done in a healthy manner. Even here, and even though this song is written in this fashion, it's not necessarily implied that this is the correct way to go about doing things and dealing with people. Even level-headed people can make incorrect judgments out of good intentions. And so it's not definitive that coming at someone like Intervention comes at the main character is necessarily a good thing. Once again, neither of these characters are perfect. But Intervention arises out of a time where someone has been tolerating or observing someone's issues for a while and has been letting it build up to a point where it has to come out. One thing that is really cool, and was something I wanted to try to implement on this album, is that I vocally sound just a little more worn out throughout the duration of this song in comparison to the rest of the album. Not like I deliberately try to sound bad or wear myself out before recording the song, but just through the process of recording it and the way we did all the songs, I think it's symbolic that I sound slightly worn out on Intervention, because it's the last song the character has. These are his last words. He's exhausted. He's giving everything he has to tell this all to the main character. And I think my vocals reflect that, and it's intentional and it's awesome. Instrumentally, this song was one of the last ones we wrote, and it's actually a product of many ideas, some of which came from some songs we wrote and scratched during the pre-production process. It's pretty punchy, definitely a little bit darker than many of our other songs. I know it's been said before, but I want to reiterate this. In all of the material we write, and in all of the songs we write, we hope to encapsulate the emotions contained in the subject matter and lyrics of the song, and simultaneously match the intensity with the instrumentals. Nothing is more awkward than hearing a song on a really intense topic and the instrumentals are a joke, or vice versa. We're all pretty critical of songs like that, so hopefully our inability to be satisfied with other music pushes our music to be the best it can be, and Intervention specifically. The end of the song houses the lines, "He who has ears, let him hear." This is something said quite a bit in the New Testament, especially in Revelation, when God is speaking to the churches. It's supposed to be a final message, a final phrase, a beckoning call to heed the words that have been said. It definitely seemed cool to add this in to the end of the song, almost to wrap together all three of the songs that the level-headed secondary character is given to speak, now that his time is done. And most importantly, it leads well into final words, the next song and the last piece of the album.